the receipt in my handwriting. The receipt sat on our kitchen island under the fruit bowl, like a cat pretending to nap. It was from Alaya, the kind of restaurant that cultivates scarcity like an herb. Date, last night. Time, 23:21. Two tasting menus, two pairings, one extra course labeled Chef's Trust. Tip, 22% in a hand that looked exactly like mine. My tidy sevens, my left-leaning slash through the zero, my habit of writing the dollar sign last because a bartender told me once it made the number feel less alone. At the bottom, the signature I sign without looking. My name. My flourish. I didn't eat at Alaya last night. I ate fridge noodles at 22:10 and fell asleep on our couch face down in a document about zoning variances. At 23:21, I woke to Myra's keys and the weight of her knee on the cushion near my ribs and her quiet laugh as she draped a throw over me like a lie we both accepted because we were tired. Now the receipt looked at us both, pink and smug. Myra pinched the bridge of her nose like she was about to do surgery on a budget. She runs a clinic for small contractors who get shaken down by big ones. She knows exactly how long to let a silence live before she evicts it. "Say it," she said. "I didn't go," I said. "I know," she said. She could have picked a different pronoun. She didn't. What is this then? It's my handwriting and my name and my favorite restaurant, and a time we were both breathing the same apartment, I said. Which means it's a trap with good taste. The phone chimed. Unknown number. A photo. The private dining alcove at Alaya, candle low, glassware in frame, rule of thirds perfect. My watch hand reaching for a stem. A woman's forearm near it, bare, pale, the shadow of a bracelet at the wrist. Caption, "You tipped too much." S. Myra's expression did the thing I love even when I hate being the reason for it. She got calmer. "S," she said. "Who is S?" "Sloan," I said, because I've learned the only time to be fast is on nouns that hurt. She used to run special partnerships for Rains's foundation. She knows my shortcuts. Myra absorbed the name like a doctor hearing a drug list and checking it for interactions. "You're going to show me the part where she faked your handwriting," she said. "I'm going to show you the part where she tried to record a confession I didn't give," I said. I took a photo of the receipt and blew it up. The loop in the J was mine, yes. The crossbar on the T was lower than I ever draw it. The downstroke on the R had a hitch on the down like someone changed pens mid-letter. And there, delicious, petty, the 2 in 22% was my 2 from 5 years ago. I had stopped making them that way after a slow waiter told me it made my numbers look like someone else. "Old letters," Myra said, seeing it when I did. She practiced. "She had a model," I said. "What does she want?" Myra asked. "A yes," I said, "and a promise not to tell anyone she's already paid for it." The call came before I could decide whether to eat the receipt. Sloan didn't bother with hello. "Good morning, lover," she sang. "You took me to dinner last night and tipped like a gentleman." "You took my signature to dinner," I said. "You take everything too personally," she said. "I need a favor. You can decline. I'll make a different call and we'll be on opposite sides of a hearing where I'm the villain and you get to win small." "What's the favor?" I asked, though I knew half of it already. "Dumas Towers rooftop permit," she said. "The planning board postponed the vote because someone whispered wind shear, and someone else whispered shadow analysis. And now my donors are using the word uncertainty like a spell that fixes their guilt. I need you to say the clinic signs off on their mitigation plan. In exchange, I make sure the tower's community benefits has a number and not just a ribbon." "I don't work for you," I said. "You work for sincerity," she said. "I can rent that." Myra's eyes were on me. They are never a question. They are a mirror that understands what I mean. You forged my name, I said. I rehearsed the moment you were going to give it to me, she said. Come to Alaya tonight and I'll give you the paper trail that makes yes not feel like a stain. You're going to show me wind studies, I said, with the real data, not the digest. I'm going to show you the part where a man who owns half of Dumas knows precisely how much shade he is buying your neighborhood, she said. And then I'm going to show you the line item where he pays for a clinic wing in cash if he gets what he wants before Thursday. She hung up. Myra exhaled. Honeysuckle, she said, forcing the word between her teeth like swallowing a pill. I never thought I'd be grateful for that stupid password. That's why it works, I said, hatting it correctly. We didn't go to Alaya at their time. We went early and sideways. The restaurant's entrance is a velvet decision. The alley off the service door is a different kind of truth. Omar, the Suze who taught me how to salt without apologizing, let us in with a look that said this better be good. Private alcove, I said. Last night who sat there? Someone who calls ahead and someone who calls after, he said. I can't give you names. You can give me the handwriting on the chits from the floor, Myra said. We're not cops. We're the reason your vendors get paid on time. He shrugged in the way that means yes. He brought a stack of closed checks. The hand that wrote Branzino 3 times on Table 7's ticket was neat and left-leaning. The hand that wrote Chef's Trust on our fake receipt was the same, only trying to be me. Myra compared, her finger tracing the tiny hesitation before the capital S in sparkling. Sloan wrote this, she said. She didn't just sign, she wrote the whole thing. Omar grimaced. She left a tip like she was laundering an apology, he said. We split it evenly anyway. I asked to see the camera pointed toward the alcove. He walked us to an office the size of an apology and pulled up last night's 22:00-23:30. Sloan in a blue dress that looked like she'd argued with it and the dress had won. A woman opposite her whose hair lifted like a promise whenever she laughed. My watch hand never appeared. The mirror shot could have been taken in any number of rooms with that lamp, that glass, that key card. The angle was from knee height, as if the photographer had been careful not to be recognized by the recognition software in my head. Print it, Myra said. Omar did. She folded the print into her pocket like a therapist storing evidence for later. We left by the alley because we like knowing how to exit the nice places without walking past the piano. Dumas Tower, Myra said. Dumas Tower, I said. Sloan thinks she can get me to bless a shadow and make it feel like community care. She's going to show you a check. She's going to show me a promise the check will be written if I write another one with my mouth. We took the long route to the public library, which is where Dumas people like to pretend big decisions are birthed because the lobby smells like good paper and old Triumph. The project room had boards on easels, renderings of sunlight that never met physics, diagrams that measured amenity breeze, a model with a tiny park like a green apology near the base. A junior architect stood nearby wearing hope like a badge. Wind shear, I asked. He launched into a language where numbers perform. Myra listened until she was bored, which takes longer than it does for most people. You're measuring comfort at shoulder height on a cloudless day, she said. You're not measuring the days when ambulances park and someone's grandmother has to walk from the curb to the sliding doors and almost leaves the city when the gust hits her at the wrong angle. He swallowed. We have mitigation fins, he said, and budget for a clinic wing, Sloan said, appearing like an edit in a sentence. If the city shows it can do 2 things at once. She walked us into the corner near the bathrooms where bad decisions go to smoke. She held a folder like a priest holds a Bible when he's preaching to the choir, because the choir already believes. "The wind study isn't why we're here," she said, voice gentle as theft. "The wind study is for the board members who like to say they read things. You and I are here because a clinic director needs to be able to look a donor in the eye and say escrow without flinching." She showed me the escrow letter. It was better than I expected. A third-party trustee, disbursement triggers not written by poets, an engineer on call who didn't report to the developer. It was worse than I needed, a clause that said timely approvals assumed, which is a way of saying the money exists only if the world behaves. "And the wing?" Myra asked. "2 exam rooms, 1 community classroom," Sloan said. "Named if you want it. Anonymous if you're honest about optics." Myra looked at me. Her eyes said, "We could say yes to the wing and no to the lie that bought it." My eyes said, "She forged my name, which means she will forgive herself other forgeries." Sloan watched us. She always reads me faster than I want to be read. "Honeysuckle," she said softly, and the word in her mouth felt like a theft. "Don't worry, I won't tell your little club you still need a password." "You're doing it wrong," I said. "It's ours, not yours." "Everything is mine until someone else pays for it," she said. "Do we have a deal?" Myra put a hand on my forearm, the hinge under her thumb, the part of me that keeps my spine from pretending to be courage. "We'll give you a deal," she said. "Clinic first. Escrow without the assumption clause. Independent wind mitigation audit before certificate of occupancy for floors above 20. And you write the cameras out. No building surveillance that can be used to profile who comes and goes at the clinic." Sloane's mouth did the thing it does when she tastes a different weather pattern. "You'll ask the board to swallow that." "We'll ask them to earn their plaque," Myra said. Sloane's eyes glittered like a coin deciding which pocket to jump into. "Fine," she said. "But you stand up tomorrow and say the words safe and timely and independent. And you do not say the word wind unless you're prepared to explain physics to a man who invests in yachts." "We'll say the words we believe," Myra said. We left with paper that could become a promise if we chose to bless it. We went home through a storm that had misread the forecast. In our doorway, Myra pressed me back against the jamb and kissed me like she was reminding my body which room it belonged to. The laugh that broke against my mouth wasn't polite. "You were tempted," she said, mouth on my neck. "I'm always tempted," I said. "I like complicated women more than I should." "You like winning," she said, sliding her hands up under my shirt, palms hot against the cold stubbornness near my ribs. "I like making sure it counts." We didn't make it to the bed. The rug forgave us. The door remembered to be closed. It wasn't porn, it was proof of the small violent kindness we keep for moments when outside tries to write us into a scene we didn't audition for. When she shifted her hips and breathed "say it," I did, because the habit saves us more than it embarrasses us. "Honeysuckle." After, we lay in that post-storm silence where the apartment holds its breath as if it wants to hear whether we are going to be sensible. We were. We called Sparrow, the reporter who knows how to cut a contract open without spilling blood on the part that matters. We sent the escrow letter. We sent the mitigation audit language. We sent the camera prohibition and the no assumption clause revision that makes money behave like a grown-up. At the hearing, Sloan looked like virtue stolen from a thrift store and made new with a good tailor. She said independent, the way a person says, "I'm listening." The developers' council did a dance where timely tried to become inevitable, and Myra politely broke his ankle. I spoke because sometimes I get to. I did not say wind. I did not say shadow. I said the clinic would accept a wing if the escrow existed without performance conditions, and the first dollar hit our account before any unit above floor 10 saw a buyer. I said the city can do two things at once but has to choose the order. I said cameras are not safety, people are. Sloane sat like she was enjoying a show that might make her cry. When the vote came, the board surprised itself by acting like a board. 4 in favor of a permit with our conditions. 1 abstention who thought he was being brave. It stood. After Sloane drifted near with a smile that had chosen not to be smug. "You win ugly," she said. "I don't know how to win pretty," I said. "You used to," she said. "I used to think pretty meant good," I said. She looked at Myra. "Take care of his hinge," she said quietly. "It's the only part of him that doesn't lie." Myra looked at the receipt in my pocket, then at Sloane, then at me. "Bring the check," she said. "Then we'll bring the wing." That night, I taped the fake receipt inside the cabinet where we keep the batteries and the spare keys and the ugly truths we've learned to admire, because they keep us from swallowing worse ones. I wrote in Sharpie across the top, ATTMPTED. Sloane sent a photograph at 23, 21, 2 empty plates, a key card, my signature that wasn't mine. She added a heart because she knows hearts work on the part of me that resents how effective they are. I didn't respond. Myra took my phone and wrote, "Next time you need sincerity, order it without my boyfriend's name." Sloane replied with a period. It felt like applause. We didn't sleep early. We did the map. We did the kiss. We did the thing where I put my ear against Myra's shoulder and listen for the thing that is only ours, the rhythm that doesn't show up in EXIF data or receipts or board packets, the hinge that tells me when I'm performing and when I'm telling the truth. In the morning, Omnibus Language pinged my inbox. Escrow executed. Wing funded. Cameras forbidden near any door with a waiting room behind it. The wind mitigation audit got a date and a firm that doesn't owe anyone a favor. The tower will rise and cast the shade a building casts, and the bench near the clinic will have a sign that says nothing at all, and I will choose to believe that is better than the version where the bench is a plaque for a man who learned the wrong lesson. Myra slid her palm into mine and squeezed twice. "Do you trust her?" she asked. "No," I said. "Do you believe her?" she asked. "Enough to make her keep believing in herself," I said. We ate fridge noodles again and laughed at the neat circle of it. When the city tried to text us another photo that wasn't ours, we turned the phones face down and chose each other instead. We are not clean. We are clear. We keep the password that shames us because it saves us. We sign our names only when our hands mean it. And when someone writes our names without asking, we write back with a condition and a kiss, and the part of the night where the rug forgives us again, because it remembers the order of things better than the city does.